All right. So turning to the page of not all philosophy is good philosophy. The issue is not whether you do philosophy, but how well you do it. People do not decide to do philosophy. They don't just sit down and stroke their chin and, okay, I'm in philosophy mode. No, they're doing philosophy is unavoidable, and it's unavoidable today, yesterday, tomorrow, what you're probably doing right now, especially if you're listening to this, obviously. But if you're going shopping, if you're talking about education with your children, if you're watching sports, even in there, you're talking about philosophy. Oh, have good sportsmanship. Oh, well, why? You can get away with unsportsmanship. You take a penalty for it if you get caught, but let's try not to get caught. Or you have some esoteric view of the goodness of the game that you want to preserve, and so you talk about the heels or dirty players and stuff like that. So even in sports, you're talking about philosophy. So it's not whether or not you want to do philosophy or not do philosophy. The only question then is whether we will do our philosophical thinking reflectively, consistently, and well. And so that's what Bahnsen is challenging us to do here, for us to challenge the other person and for ourselves as well. Especially as Christians, we want to have the most consistent worldview, and sometimes even within our own theology, we might run into those opposing things, and so we either need kind of rescuing devices that bridge the gap between what we see as inconsistency, or we should recognize inconsistency and then change our theological beliefs. But we also need a standard for that, and so that's what he's going to talk about.
Right. In fact, so he says that the ordinary man in the street is distinguished from the academic philosopher by his lack of resolve to answer the fundamental questions of life in a consistent, conscious and reflective way. So that's the basic difference. He says the difference between, the ordinary guy on the street and the philosophy professor is one of degree, right?
Not degrees, but degree,
that's
yes.
right. Yeah, not degrees, but degree. All are philosophers, but not all aim to be good philosophers. And we hope that he's talking about the aim to be good is with the philosophy professor, but, might be one or the other. Right. He says we can take the most uneducated person that right? And at some point in his life, he's going to wonder what is real and what is not real, right? He says everyone has who decides that, for instance, Santa Claus is not real, has practiced some degree of philosophy, right? Because they're making a metaphysical deduction based on their information, right? So is Santa Claus real? Well, when you ask that question, you're doing philosophy.
Yes, and assuming this is still on YouTube 2 years in the future, Cave of the Cross Apologetics does not endorse any view of Santa Claus being real or not real.
Thank you.
And so please do not strike our channel. Thank you, overlords at YouTube. But you can also find us on Odyssey. So I'm still sure there's still free speech there in the future. So